One and happy Thursday. Let me just see if I can get this a little better. I think that's good. It might be a little blurry. I don't know why. My lens is clean, so I am not sure what is happening. So I hope everybody's doing good. Tonight we are going to play with Eden's Garden, the stamp set and the dies. It is a product, hey Do, it is a product that is retiring and it is on sale right now in the store. I think, hey Margaret, I think Eden's Garden stamp set is $9.20 and the dies that match, I believe, are $14. Move your camera up. Is that better? Hi Sheila. Hi Dawn. And that is what we're going to do. So I am using By the Bay, I believe that's what it's called, Designer Series paper right here. And this is the Scallop Contour Dies. Hey Ruth, how are you? I'm also using our returning Misty Moonlight, which I'm really excited about. I actually used it just for some of the die cuts. So let's get started. How are you, Ruth? So I hope it is not too blurry. I know I can't see if it is. I changed my lighting. So we'll see what happens. And we'll start with this card here. I am starting with, let me pull my pieces out here. A basic white layer, 11 by 4¼ and I scored it at 5½. Let me just pull out a bone folder, something that I need to invest in. All right, so hey Karen. Oh, did you get your package? Awesome, awesome. Oh, it only is in focus when I bring it to the camera. Okay, so let's try that. Hey Debbie, thank you. All right, so that's our card base. And of course, we have to layer it up. And I am going to layer it up with, and I think I probably have to change up. Nope, that looks good. Some Night of Navy. And this Night of Navy is 5 3/8 by 4 1/8. Now, I will have a PDF available tomorrow. Oh, great, Margaret. Everybody got their stuff really quick. Thank you so much. I finally got a chance to sit and do my nails. Okay, so we're just going to layer that right on the front of the card. Then, like I said, and I didn't even poke out my pieces, I ran it through the cut and emboss machine with the scallop contour dies. And just so you know, these dies are being brought over into the new annual catalog when it's released, which I'm pretty happy about because I seem to use this set a lot. So I was happy about this, and of course I was happy about the double oval punch because that's my other favorite. So I gotta poke all my little pieces out that I forgot all about today. One more. And with this paper, I have to worry about the direction of the cardstock. So you can see the little shells. So I want the shells to be upright. Actually, it could also be peacock feathers, I guess. Aw, thanks, Karen. And we are going to pop this up onto the front of the card. And I'm going to load it up because I did not on the other one. And you can tell where this cardstock, where the designer series paper is not as heavy as the cardstock, it has a tendency to droop against the paper. So we're just going to load it up with some dimensionals. So I was watching, oh my goodness, you guys, you know I've been binge watching when Bill lays down when he's not feeling good. I binge watch Heartland. So we had a doctor's appointment this morning and came home and Bill laid down, so I started binge watching. Oh my goodness. If my voice sounds funny, it's because I was crying. It's just I get so involved in this crazy show. I love it though. All right. So we got our designer series paper and our die cut on the front of the card. Yeah, on this one, I only put one in the center and then the corners. And you can tell, like the edges here, they're just a little flimsy. This one I like much better. Okay, so we're going to grab a piece of basic white cardstock. And I'm going to grab my Misty Moonlight, which I'm so excited about. I'm so glad it's back. And we're just going to ink this up. And this is a brand new stamp pad, so it is really wet. And we're just going to stamp this image. And it didn't come out in the center. Much better. And it actually does look a lot like the Night of Navy until it dries. So you can see here it is stamped and it's still wet. Hey, Kathy. And I actually fussy cut this image out for the front of the card. And I do have one here. So you can see here it is with the ink dry. And here it is where it's wet. All right. So there are our flowers. And then in the Eden set is this pretty little die. It would be actually perfect for Christmas cards because it looks like little berries, little berry twigs. So what I did, so it is not just the frame, I cut out a piece of Night of Navy, and this is 1 3/8 by 2 7/8. And then I cut out a piece of basic white, and it's 2 3/4 by 1 1/4. So it'll fit nicely right on this rectangle Night of Navy. All right, so we are going to stamp our sentiment. And I am going to hope that I get this on straight. So I'm going to grab my Night of Navy. And we're going to ink this up. I know I have my sticker on, but my sticker is a little bit crooked. So let me just test it down here. It looks like it's pretty straight. So we're just going to stamp our sentiment. Not too bad. And then I actually took this cute little one with the sprig and the little berries, and I'm going to grab my Misty Moonlight again, and I just want it to be very light on here. So I am actually going to stamp it off twice and then stamp it. So I just want it to be on there to cover up some of this white and decorate our sentiment a bit. So now we can adhere this, and I'm going to put my glue right at the edges, because once I put the frame on, if you can see little spots, the frame will cover it. So we're just going to layer this down. Yeah, it probably does. I actually have one on one of my glue containers too. All right, so here is our sentiment. Now I'm going to take my frame, and all I'm going to do is add little dots of glue to these little sprigs that are sticking out. Try not to put too much glue so it squeezes out, but I do want to make sure that it adheres to this rectangle. All right, so we're just going to take this and we're going to lay it down right on this rectangle. So you can still see the rectangle through, but it has something to hold on to. Okay, so now we can pull our card back in, and we are going to pop this up right down here on the front of the card. So how's everybody doing? The weather here today is so warm. It really is quite nice out right now. I was wearing a sweatshirt, and then I actually just took it off and put short sleeves on. So it got warm. All right, so we just want that right down here at the bottom. It is most definitely a really nice, because it's important. I'm telling you. That's why I watch shows that make me cry, so I can cry about the show and cry about other things all at the same time, because I have a tendency to hold everything in. So the shows allow me to cry for the show and cry for things that I need to cry about. It's crazy. Oh gosh. Okay, so we are just going to layer this. I'm popped it up, and I'm just putting the dimensionals up here because I do want to overlap it onto my sentiment. So it looks like just about these 3 leaves here. So I am going to add a bit of glue to those leaves and then lay it back down so it does attach to that sentiment. Okay? Then for the, let me just grab it because I'm not sure. I actually grabbed the dies Organic Beauty, and I believe these are also retiring for my cutouts. So I did 2 sprigs in Misty Moonlight, and I did 2 sprigs in Night of Navy, and then I did 2 sprigs, bless you, in Silver Foil. And we're just going to add these to the front of the card. And I'm going to start with the Misty Moonlight, because since this designer series paper is so dark, this will you'll see this a little better. You were in the 80s today. You're going to the 20s. Hey, Kathy, that's crazy. The weather is just so crazy. So I am just going to take this, and we got to make sure we don't hit those dimensionals. And I just did. So I am going to actually grab my scissors. I'm going to trim this down and then add glue again. So we're not really losing anything. Let's see if I can, up, there we go. We can lift it up a little bit. We just want to fill that corner a little. Then I'm going to take the Night of Navy sprig. Excuse me. And we're going to stick that down inside. And then grab the silver one and lay it right here on top. So that silver will just bring your eyes and you'll be able to see these a little bit better. Hey, Fran. So now we have these other sprigs, and I'm actually going to add them over here. We're going to cut this down again and add some glue. And we'll fill in this side. So I'll add this one here. I might have to trim this one, but I'm just going to add this in here. Whoops. And we're going to let it go over the sentiment there a little bit. And then our silver, we'll just tuck that in right about there. And that is the front of our card. But before we work on the inside, I'm going to grab some of these adhesive back milky dots. And there's a nice blue in here. And I'm going to grab 2 of these smaller gems and add them to this corner. We don't want that corner of the card to feel left out. And there is the front of our first card. Thank you, Kathy. I'm telling you, I was up this morning. This is the By the Bay. I'm almost positive that, whoops, that's the name of it. It's By the Bay. I get up, Kathy, at 4 in the morning and work till about 6:30 when I have to take the dog out. And that is when I do my Stampin' Up things from 4 to 6:30. All right, so yes, my crazy life. So we are going to do the inside, and I have Night of Navy, 5 3/8 by 4 1/8, and then I have a piece of basic white, and it should be 5 1/4 by 4. And all I'm going to do is grab, and this is long, so I'll have to trim it, a piece of the silver, and this is 3/8 of an inch, and we're just going to add some glue, and we're going to add it right here to the left hand side. So I'm just going to lay it down, and then I'm just going to lift my layer and push it down to the table. And as long as you cut your paper correctly and it's straight, it should be right up against the edge now. And then I did the same thing with the designer series paper, but this one is a 1/2 inch. And again, you have to watch if you have designer series paper that needs a direction. You want to make sure you check that you have it in the right direction. I want the rounded part of my shells facing the top. So we're just going to lay this down. I'm going to do the same thing. Make sure that that is straight to the edge. And as long as you cut your paper straight, it should be laying straight on your card. And then we're just going to trim this off. Just like that. Let's grab some seal. And we'll add this to the card. So this week, poor little Iggy, my cat, had to have his 5 teeth removed. And when he came to us, he had an eye that, if you've seen the pictures, that it must have gotten infected when he was a little baby. All right, so there is our first card. So he went in for surgery. What's today? Thursday. Yesterday. And the poor little thing, he's traumatized today. And he won't come out of the bedroom. Thankfully, he's eating. He ate today, so. All right. So now we have card number 2. And we are again going to start out with a basic white layer. This time it's 8.5 by 5.5. Thanks, Kathy. And I scored it at 4 1/4. So let's just... Okay, so there is our... What the heck? My camera is acting up again. And I even reset it before my video. I guess it's just not happy with me. Alright, let me just make sure I have my right layers. My correct layers, I should say. Yep. Okay, so we're starting off with our basic white. And then I'm going to layer it with a basic white that is 5 3/8 by 4 1/8. And then I'm going to pop up a piece of designer series paper. The same paper that I used on the other card. Okay, so let's add some dimensionals to this while I'm thinking about it. And we have to cut it up a little bit. The edges are perfect for this. And we'll cut some more. Put one here and one here. So we're going to pop this up, but let's get this down on the front of the card first. And I am going to use glue because we're not going to see it with the designer series paper on the front. I'm just going to scoot this over a little bit. Alright, so we just have that added layer. So we have our designer series paper, and like I said, we're going to pop this up. But first, I took a piece of Native Navy, and this is 5 1/4 by 4. And I took the die from the Garden Eden. It's an edge die or a border die. And I measured in, I believe it was an inch. I can tell you in a second. It was about an inch. So I measured an inch in. and I laid the die down right at the line, 1-inch line, and die cut the edge. And of course, I didn't take out my little pieces, so bear with me for 1 second. One more. And I am going to adhere this right to this designer series paper. I could have just cut one piece and added it to the end, but I wanted it to be nice and sturdy. So we're just going to add some glue. So if you wanted to just use a strip, just cut a strip and make it so this a layer would be 5 1/4 by 4. Okay, so I'm just going to add this on, and of course I am going to push it down so it's right on the edges. All right, so like I said, I just wanted to see my, aw, thanks. All right, so you can just see it peeking through. Now, before I put this piece on the front of the card, we're going to pull in a piece of basic white. Now, this basic white measures 3 1/8, and I think it's 5 1/8. Yeah. And I cut it so it would come in, have a navy blue border, and it just about comes to this line. Okay. Just looking, I have a little spot right there. We'll use this side. So we're going to grab our Sending Hugs sentiment and our Night of Navy. And again, I am going to just check to make sure I have this on here straight. And it looks like I do. And I'm just going to hopefully not get any edges. Add this sentiment right down there at the bottom of the card. Now I can add it to the front of the card. And I'm going to actually add some seal, because this time I do not want to see the glue. Come on. Oh, that's why it's almost out. And like I said, we're going to have a little bit of an edge so we can see that navy blue on the front of the card. I still have my card base, but I wanted to get this all laid out. And now I'm going to take my piece of ribbon, and you know me, I cheat. So we're just going to take a length of ribbon, and I'm going to add some glue dots, because you all know I don't like wrapping and tying. So I am going to take my ribbon, and this is the Night of Navy border ribbon. And we're going to lay it down so it covers up that seam. And it's also going to cover up the stitching on that frame. So you just want to make sure when you lay it down, we have it on here straight. All right. So, well, it just saw that it was blurry again. All right. So now that that is finished, I can take all these papers off. This one, there we go. And then we can add this to the front of the card. Let's see if I can, there we go. Much easier. make sure the card is opening in the right direction. I've done that before. And then we are going to layer this right onto the front of the card. Move that out of the way. Let's just quick make a bow. Yeah, well, that's paper. Before I started the video, I know I have a large bottle of this refill for the stamping mist to clean our stamps, and I can't find it for the life of me. I have no idea what I did with it. All right, so we just have a quick little bow. Get it off my fingers. Let's fix these loops and trim our tails. All right, so we have our bow ready to go. Let's just see. I'm just going to pull that a little bit, make sure they're even, and pull our card back in. Now this time, I again did a silver and a basic white. Now this is from the Organic Beauty, and these are from the Eden Garden dies. And like I said, this set, I believe, for both the dies and the stamp set, you can get it for like $24 for both. So that's a really great price. All right, so it was right here in front of me. I know it was, and I must have moved it. So you know what I'll be looking for in the next couple days. All right, so I'm going to start with the basic white. And I am just going to add this right to the front of the card. Now you can add glue to the tips if you want, but I had decided not to. And then I'm going to grab my Night of Navy. And we're going to add this right about here. And then this is our Misty Moonlight. And I'm going to put this one so it is over the ribbon. And then we'll add our silver one. And we'll just add this right about here. Now we'll grab some glue dots, and I want to make sure that this ribbon stays on. So I'm actually going to grab 2 glue dots, and I put one right here on the ribbon, and then I'm going to take a second one and put it right next to it. Because I want this ribbon, they're sticky tonight. I want this ribbon to hide all these little ends. So we're going to stick it right here. And let's grab those blue gems again. And I'm going to put a large one. And then 2 small ones. We'll put one here. And then we'll put one right about there. And that's the front of our second card. Just something quick and easy. Thanks, Karen. All right. So we'll grab our insides. And I believe this is 5 1/4 by 4. It is. And this is 5 1/8 by 3 7/8. This time, I'm just going to take this sprig of leaves and I'm going to grab my Misty Moonlight. And like I said, this stamp pad is brand new. So I am actually going to stamp off and then stamp. I'm going to add one here. I'm just going to add them right to this side. Just the tips of that stamp. Grab my matte piece. And I know I only have 2 projects tonight. I was going to do a third. I just couldn't do it today. We had another doctor's appointment, and it turns out that Bill's cancer is back, and we have to go, he has to go back in the first week of June for another procedure. We're going on Wednesday, I think it's Wednesday, for a CT scan. They want to see, he's having trouble with his kidneys. They want to make sure it's not the cancer that spread because he's in so much pain. So that's what's been happening. So here is our first card for tonight. And then here is our second. And I am going to figure out what the heck is wrong with my camera. All right. So tonight, if you place an order of $30 or more, I'm bringing my swag bags back. You'll get a Stampin' Spot ribbon, designer series paper, and double-sided tape. Aw, thank you so much. So keep that in mind. My swag bags are back. So I'll have a PDF for this in our group tomorrow, probably by noon, hopefully earlier. And I will, let's see, today is Thursday. I will see you on Sunday. Thanks, Ruth. It's just one of those things we're dealing with right now, I guess. So thank you all so much for stopping by, and I shall talk to you soon. Enjoy the warm weather, Karen, till it gets cold. Thanks, Sheila. Have a great night, ladies. Bye-bye.